Hi, this is Kristen Nicholson, Career Prep Facilitator for South Central Michigan Works. This presentation is on diversity. The face of the workforce is changing and becoming more diverse. The U.S. workforce has become more diverse over the past 20 years. This trend is going to continue throughout the 2000s. The workforce of tomorrow is going to differ from the workforce of today in a number of ways. We have to make sure we take into consideration the value of diversity. Many organizations promote diversity, believing that it results in more productivity. These organizations often provide training to help people understand how to work together. As you can see from the statistics, men make up 53.5%, women 46.5%. Race in 2008, white made up 81.4%, black 11.5%, Asian 4.7%, and all other groups made up 2.4% of our workforce. The age 16 to 24, 14.3%, 25 to 54, 67.7% of our workforce, and 55 and older is 18.1%. These stats are all taken from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, civilian labor force by age, sex, and race. So think about your work history and or your life experiences. Do you have any preconceived ideas because of a person's background? Think about age. Some people may feel that 15, 16, 17-year-olds or younger workers will not be good workers, be lazy, won't be on time, won't take it seriously. However, just because you are in that age group does not define you that way. Just as older workers, people could think that they aren't going to be as motivated, they're going to not work as long. They may stereotype them. And again, that may not be the idea, that may not be the situation. So as the statement has always been said, don't judge a book by its cover. You definitely want to get to know the person before you make any type of ideas or judgment on them. And ways to do that, overcome preconceived ideas, is to get to know the people. You may be right on, and you may be way off. Stereotyping is an oversimplified image or statement that is applied to a whole group of people without regard for the individual. Can you think of a time when you may have been stereotyped? There's also some bias. This is a predisposition to see events, people, or items in a positive or negative way. It's basically an attitude or belief towards something. You'll hear people may be biased against the school that they graduated from, whether it be if they have good rapport with that school or they may have a bad one. Understanding the hidden rules. Based on research by Ruby K. Payne, a PhD, she's the leading U.S. expert on the mindsets of poverty, middle class, and wealth. She finds that an individual brings with him or her hidden rules of the class in which he or she was raised. Although the income of an individual may rise significantly or decrease significantly, many of the patterns of thought, social interaction, cognitive strategies remain with that person. So whatever your mindset is with how you were raised, you're going to usually continue that same mindset no matter how much money you have in your possession. And what hidden rules are unspoken cues and habits of a particular economic group. Please keep in mind the economic class is a continuous line. It is not a clear-cut distinction. So we're going to talk about poverty, middle class, and wealth. She defines them in 3 different economic classes. However, you can bounce back and forth between all 3. If you're in poverty, you are not always going to be in poverty necessarily. Just as much as if you were raised middle class doesn't mean you're always going to be middle class, or wealthy, you're always going to be wealthy. So you can bounce back and forth between all of them. What I'm going to go over is some of the bigger hidden rules, and these are her findings. She has a book, Bridges Out of Poverty. If you'd like to check out that book, I would highly recommend reading it, especially if you are from generational poverty. You may want to take some of these insights and apply them to your life and see how you can benefit from them. I am going to kind of talk about poverty and middle class. I believe that this is who we can relate to the most. Wealthy will be on the presentation. You can kind of look at that. But what she found, the first thing is possessions. And people in poverty tend to possess people. They surround themselves with lots of family, lots of friends. It's important to them, who their friends are. Middle class, it's about things. It's about the cars, the cell phones, toys. It's all about the material type of items. Money. People in poverty, what she found is that it is to be spent. It's to be used. When you get some money, it tends to go because you might not have it tomorrow. So you tend to spend it right away. Middle class, their idea with money is it's more to be managed. They get some money. They know it needs to go here, part of it, bills, savings, and so forth. The next one is personality. They feel that personality is most for entertainment. A sense of humor is highly valued. In middle class, it's about stability. Achievement is highly valued with this class. Social emphasis. They surround themselves, again, include with people that they like. The middle class, it's a lot about self-governance and being self-sufficient. Food, what she found was the key question is, did you have enough? The quantity is important because you may have food one day and not have food the next couple. So it's, did you have enough? The middle class, they find that they usually have the food. It's about the quality then. So is it good? And then wealthy, they know they're going to have it. They know it's going to be good. So then it's where the presentation comes in. If you see any 5-star restaurants or watch Iron Chef, you'll see that they present them very artistically. Clothing, in poverty, it's valued for individual style and expression of personality. In the middle class, it's about the label. In wealthy, it's about the designer. Time, present is the most important with individuals in poverty. Decisions are based on survival. You make decisions from the day to day just to survive. Middle class, it's about the future. Decisions made today are made because of how they're going to affect tomorrow. Time is a huge one. Our whole society is based on middle class values, school systems to your work environment. So especially if you're in that poverty mindset, to you 5 minutes late may not be a big deal, but to your employer that may be huge and you could get some repercussion for that. So again, make sure you're following, that time, that keeping in the moment. The next one is language. In poverty, people tend to use casual register. And what that means is you are using more slang. This is the way that you would talk to your friends, maybe your family members, possibly by saying, what up, or what you doing at the crib this weekend, that kind of lingo. Middle class, it's more about formal register. It's tend to be about negotiation. So again, our society is made up of middle class values. So you want to use formal register when you're going on the job for interviews, picking up applications, and then when you are employed, continue that formal register with your customers and your coworkers. So you have to know when to switch back from casual to formal. You can't go into a place to pick up an application and be like, yo dog, I need the app. You have to ask them, greet them, use proper English, complete sentences. Education, people in the poverty mindset, they know that education is important and it's out there, but it's not seen as much of a reality for them. It's more about the facts. We've all heard the term street smarts. The middle class, they feel it's crucial for climbing that success ladder and making money. So it's the next step. You graduate high school, the next step is go to college to get a good job. Again, with the education and the poverty, if you remember, we talked about, time and its decisions are made how to survive. So again, that future is not always something that's constantly thought about. Destiny, people in poverty tend to believe that they can't do much to change their future. This is where they are. This is where they've been. They feel maybe less control of being able to change with that. Middle class definitely believes in a choice and that you can change your future if you make good choices now. The family structure in poverty tends to be the mother. The mother tends to be that central focus. And the biggest statistics of individuals in poverty are single females, children. The middle class, it tends to be the father, tends to be the central focus. And with our divorce rate being about 50%, I question this when talking to a presenter about bridges out of poverty. And she said that when you're little, think about with your kids, what do they want? Or what did you grow up thinking that you wanted out of your family? You know, most people tend to want to be married and have children and have a mother and father a part of that family structure. So that is why in the middle class it tends to be the father is the central role player. Worldview travel, she found people in poverty don't have the income to actually go outside for vacationing, so it's more in terms of local, maybe campgrounds or going to local parks or beaches, something like that. The middle class, they tend to see the world in terms of national, so they may go on vacation out of state, you know, Florida, Colorado, Kentucky, something like that. And then the wealthy, they see the world in terms of international. You know, they could go to Milan for the weekend or for dinner. Love is conditional in poverty, and it's based on whether the individual is liked. In middle class, love is again conditional, but it's based on that achievement. Humor, in poverty, it tends to be about people and sexual situations. Middle class tends to be about just situations in general. Remember Uncle Tom when he fell down the hill? He tells stories about remember when. In summary, all in all, poverty, the driving forces are about survival, relationships, and entertainment. Middle class values, it's about work and achievement. This is important because class is relative, and what that means is if everyone around you has similar circumstances, the notion of poverty and wealth is vague. My grandfather grew up in extreme poverty. Everyone around him was in poverty. He didn't know he was poor because everyone around him didn't have anything either. Same thing if you think about Tori Spelling, who is a famous producer's daughter. She grew up with a platinum spoon. It wasn't anything to her to spend thousands of dollars on a purse and buy a new purse every week because everyone around her had that much money and was doing the same thing. Poverty or wealth only exist in relationships that are known to the quantities or expectations. And money does not buy class. Hopefully, if you think about the word class and what that means, it is how you present yourself, how you speak to people. And it doesn't matter how much money you have, whether you don't have 2 nickels to rub together or all the money in the world, that does not buy class. You control how much class you have and how you treat other people. There are 2 big differences in poverty. The first one is generational. This is being in poverty for 2 generations or longer. The second one is situational poverty. This is usually for a shorter period of time and is caused by circumstances such as job loss, death, illness, divorce, the economy. We find most people that are in poverty at the moment, that especially come through our program, do come from the situational poverty. This is important because, again, if you understand and utilize the hidden rules in the workplace and in your personal lives, you can communicate more effectively with your coworkers and customers. You're going to be able to better relate with coworkers, customers, and friends, build better relationships by understanding and recognizing the differences in other people. You're going to be able to show them respect and be respected in turn. So you have to think not everybody in the world is going to view things just the way you do. So you have to get to know how they view it, what all they are going through, and meet them at that spot. New ideas from a diverse group working together tends to create an era of change. Being adaptable and flexible to change helps keep pace with external change. Life is all about change, and if you don't keep pace with that change, you're going to be left behind. This is very true with many careers, where you must constantly be keeping up on the latest research, new products, and new techniques. What I would like for you to do after completing this slideshow presentation, I would like on your own time to create a vision board. A vision board is where you see yourself in 5 years. So maybe find a piece of construction paper, use magazines, newspapers, probably gonna need scissors and glue. And what I want you to do, this vision board may include either job or your career goals and personal goals, or focus on your job or career goals. So you can do career and personal, or just career. Don't only do your personal goals. But this is an opportunity for you to set goals for your future and express your identity. This is a vision of where you want to be in 5 years, and then reflect Look at your vision board. Are you on the right road to get to the destination that you want to be? If you are, awesome, way to go, keep it up. If not, you might want to take a U-turn and head in that direction. If you know you want to be an RN and you're not even finished your GED yet, hopefully that sparks a fire under you to get enrolled and to start practicing for that test and then get enrolled in college. Put as much into the vision board as you choose. It is your mental model. It's your destination where you want to be. Take it home, look at it daily, visualize it. Tell yourself you can do it and align yourself with people that will support you in your quest. Good luck and thank you. You have now completed watching the presentation. On your job search logs, in the results section, please put the name of the presentation and give yourself a half hour. Once you completed presentations, you will need to go into the Service Center, asked to take the Employability Skills quiz. You will take the corresponding quiz that lines up with the presentation that you have just viewed. Once you have completed all 10 presentations and taken the corresponding quizzes, and also did the in-person information technology class, you will have earned your Employability Skills endorsement. Remember, this is an endorsement to your Work Keys test, so you will want to make sure that you complete all 3 actual Work Keys tests to get your whole National Career Readiness Certificate. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about these presentations or your hours, please see your career manager. Thank you.